How's it going, guys? Brandon Smith here, your host of PlayStation's CROSSBAR Show, your home of FIFA news from all around the world, and we can't wait to bring you many more episodes of this in 2020. So yeah, Happy New Year from myself, and a usual familiar face that I'm seeing for the first time this year, Mr. Richard Buckley. Happy New Year. Welcome back to CROSSBAR.
Thank you very much. It's a nice little break over the holiday period, shall we say. We're back in 2020 now, and the FIFA esports action coming thick and fast.
It is indeed, and we always have a special guest as well with us on CROSSBAR. This week, he's fresh from Atlanta. It's Tom Leese, obviously on loan at the moment at Fnatic from #United. Welcome to CROSSBAR, mate. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, Brandon. Thanks for having me on. Looking forward to it.
Exactly that. So let's jump straight into the news to see what is happening in the world of FIFA 20. So then, we've been past Team of the Year. I'm sure we've all been enjoying that. We made our own Team of the Year in our last episode of CROSSBAR. What's happening now in the world of FIFA Ultimate Team, Richard?
Yeah, my bank balance didn't like Team of the Year, but I did. Plenty of blue items released, and right now we're in the current season of the headliners. Okay, so basically a little bit of information for headliners. It's 2 selected squads. Well, currently this is week 1 that you're seeing right now. Team 1. All these players have made headlines throughout the football season so far. If their domestic league club wins 4 matches in their domestic league, they will get a permanent +1 upgrade. They will also, that's one and done. It's not a staggering 4, it's 4 and then you get the upgrade. Also on top of that, any inform, man of the match, special foot player item that in particular player gets, they will get improved. So the headliner will always be in front. So for example, that Neymar, PSG win 4 games, he goes up 1 rating, and then he gets an inform, that Neymar will always be in front. It's a pretty saucy promo, I can't lie.
And was I right in thinking you enjoyed a bit of this promo by getting a certain player I saw on Twitter the other day?
I did. I bought Neymar, and then I sold Neymar for loads of profit. Tom, talked about Neymar. He's already involved in sort of the esports scene at events. That headliner Neymar could be getting involved with teams.
Yeah, I think a lot of pros have been waiting for a headliner name or an upgraded version to catch up with the Team of the Year cards, and I think especially in the upcoming qualifier and at Next Foot Champs Cups, I think you're definitely going to see him used.
Well, speaking of the Next Foot Champions Cup, that's a bit of news we want to talk about as well, because the Next Foot Champions Cup will be in Paris between the 21st and the 23rd of February, which is very exciting news, guys. It'll be the first time since, we go back a few years when TAS had success in Paris that we saw a tournament there.
Yeah, we had an ESWC in FIFA 18 as well, which obviously Tom's teammate at the time, part of #Agger, he won that, and we're back now in Foot Champions Cup Stage 4. I'm looking forward to it.
Exactly that. Well, as we said, we saw a fantastic tournament out in Atlanta, and we'll check in to see everything that happened from that tournament now. So as I said, the focus on this episode is the most recent Foot Champions Cup that took place in Atlanta. And we might as well kick it off speaking to you, Tom, because, a fantastic outing, your first Foot Champions Cup in quite a long time. Talk to us briefly about how it went, because, you made it so far. You made it to the PlayStation console final. You must be proud of yourself.
Yeah, I'd say it's probably my best performance at an event, and I've been competing 4 years now. So yeah, it was a big tournament. Obviously gutted to lose the way I did in the final 90th minute, but I think reflecting now, I can be proud of what I've done. And it's a big opportunity for me to kick on as well. Now I know that I can do it at the world stage, at the top level. I'm looking forward to the other events.
And you're actually unbeaten in that tournament until the final game, which you did lose. Talk to us about did you feel the pressure in that final matchup in the PlayStation 4 final?
I think you might be able to say pressure. It might be a bit of lapse of focus, because I played really well in the final for maybe 150 minutes out of the 180. I think at the end, just one mistake. It was just one mistake, 92nd minute, and that is what FIFA at the top level can be like. It's such a tight game, so much going on that can just be one mistake that costs you. And yeah, I think I've already watched it back a few times, and I know exactly where I've gone wrong, and I can remember my decision making at the time, why I did it, and yeah, I was in the wrong, and I can only blame myself, really.
Well, you picked up $15,000 and some huge global series ranking points from that tournament. However, it was a new FUT Champions Cup winner, didn't we? We unfortunately couldn't get out to Atlanta, but we were able to watch the action from home. And it was Oli Ito, the Swede, who played fantastically well, didn't he, Richard?
Yeah, unbelievable tournament, really, from Oli Ito. You can see the sort of highlights here from the final itself, the big cross-console final, and a Swedish player, first ever Swedish player to win a FUT Champions Cup, and probably the biggest win for Sweden since Boras won a tournament in Las Vegas, New York, in America, probably 5 years ago. So finally something for Sweden to sort of celebrate. And Tom, you were speaking earlier off camera. I think 3 of the 4 players were under the age of 18, or 17, 18 years old. Talk to us about, firstly, Oli Ito as a winner, and also the sort of age gap that we're seeing now with younger players dominating these FUT Champions Cups.
Yeah, at 21, I did feel like a bit of a dad up there. But yeah, the rest of them were all much younger than me. Oli Ito, deserved winner. You don't win a Champs Cup by luck. There's a lot of skill involved, a lot of good players you had to beat on the way there as well. Obviously, names like Razak, who's been winning cups, knocked Tex out as well. So fair play to him. He come out there, he played really well, got everything spot on, especially on the final stage, like the main day, that last Sunday to win the way he did. It was impressive. He played really well.
He did indeed, and $50,000 he picked up for his efforts. But let's talk about the Global Series rankings now, because that is the important thing when it comes to the playoffs and the E-World Cup. Top 64 for the playoffs, you need to be in, of course, in your own console, and top 16 for the E-World Cup Grand Finals. Tom, talk to me about what that weekend has done for you, because you're up into the top 10 now.
Yeah, I actually moved up 68 places, if I'm right, from when I was last on the leaderboard. So it's massive for me, getting the points, top 8. Obviously, I'm not at the World Cup yet. I think we're predicting maybe 2.2 to 2.4, depending on how players perform at certain cups. But yeah, that is a massive, massive move for me. I'd be lying if I said I expected to be there after the cup. I mean, you don't really go into a tournament expecting to finish in a final. It's more, I'd say, hope. So yeah, I'm really proud, really happy with it. Obviously, still gutted at the same time that I lost out the way I did. But in the grand scheme of things, on that leaderboard, especially with 2 big events coming up, I can be happy with how I've performed so far.
I'd say as well, Rich, we've had a big movement from Amit as well, who was the PlayStation 4 champion. He goes, into the top 5 now. Let's have a word about people that maybe didn't perform as well from the PlayStation. Nicholas, first event for a while, went 0-3.
Also, the leader as well on the PlayStation rankings, we got Swist as well, Crazy Gamer. So I think the PlayStation rankings at the minute, it's very, very sort of unreliable. You don't know which players are going to perform at certain events. Some players, you sort of the consistency. Atex, Razak, Dasari, they're always going to do fairly well at a tournament. Nicholas to go 0-3 just shows how up for grabs this PlayStation Top 64 is right now. Anybody could make it into that Top 64. One good event and you're there. You're at the grand finals, you're at the playoffs. So it's fascinating viewing right now.
Exactly that, Rich. And as we said, we've still got 3 FUT Champions Cups to come up. We've got the E-Nations Cup, the E-Club Bowl Cup as well. And of course, we'll keep you up to date on CROSSBAR month by month on how the movements, of course, are happening within the Global Series rankings. As we said, though, we have got a special guest with us in Tom Leese. So let's find out a little bit more about him, because, we've seen you in competitive FIFA for quite a while now. It was once FUTWiz, Tom. Now hashtag Tom, of course, that is still your parent club, but now you're on loan at Fnatic. Talk to us first and foremost about how the hashtag move came about, and then kind of the last 6 months.
Yeah, I had a good FIFA 19, especially the back end of it. In April, May, managed to do well at the E-Nations Cup with England, and then did well at an event, LQE, May LQE Bucharest. And then playoffs, let myself down a little bit. I was obviously aiming for that World Cup spot, but still, I think finished 21st in the world. Led to interest from Hashtag, who approached FUTWiz and said, what's the situation there? They worked something out, managed to move to Hashtag at the start of the game, literally as FIFA 20 was released. I think the day it was released, if I remember correctly. And yeah, just progressed ever since. Had a bit of a rough start, not making the first 2 Champs Cups, but I think the belief was always there that I could do something. I just needed my time. And yeah, I think proven to an extent this week what I can do.
I'm not saying that Richard can guess people's lottery numbers, but you did predict that move. We had lots of chats about it.
I think it was one of those that you saw hashtag sort of transfer policy. It was very much, we want UK players who can involve not only as a esports team, but as a football club, the Sunday League team, content, etc. I think you saw Tom, he had a very, very good back end of 2019. Often contracts come up. I thought there would have been discussions there, and now we have him sat in front of us. One thing that I want to talk to you about is sort of your battle with FIFA itself. About 12 months ago, 10 months ago, you were a E-Premier League qualifier at Tottenham Hotspur, and you went in expecting to win it. Let's be honest. You went in as the favourite. You expected to take the Tottenham jersey. After the event finished, you were, face it, very, very upset. You came up to me and you said, I'm not sure if I want to do this anymore. I'm not sure if I want to compete. I don't know if this is for me. I might have to get a real job. They were your words. I remember them. What's happened in the last 12 months? What's took you on this path to become one of the top 10 FIFA players in the world?
I think the Premier League qualifier was sort of a watershed moment, you could say, in my progress. I had to sit down myself, I had to sit down with my family and really think about what I wanted to do. Playing FIFA professionally, you have to play to a certain level. If you're not good enough, it's not going to last, is it? Let's be honest. In any profession, if you're not at the top of your game, there's always someone willing to overtake you. And that's what was happening on FIFA 19, really. And sat myself down and I had to really just dig in hard. I have a go at myself. I wonder where I was going wrong. Kept making the same mistakes in preparation, in the actual game. There's a lot of things I was doing wrong. And yeah, after a long sit down and sort of envisage where I wanted to go with the esport, what I wanted to be within the FIFA scene, I managed to change. I think a lot of it was mindset. I think if you speak to a lot of players that would have played me between that, let's say that bad period between November and February FIFA 19, they'd say Tom still got the ability. There was just something missing. I think a lot of it was in my mind. As soon as I was losing or as soon as I felt a bit of pressure, I didn't really know how to deal with it. But with a lot of guidance from the right people as well, I can't say it's just me. I've had a lot of people involved that have mentally helped me and also gameplay helped me. I've just managed to progress. I think England was a big moment. Obviously, you two would have seen me getting the E-line spot, winning on pens. And ever since then, my confidence just through the roof, suddenly started to prove what I could do and haven't really slowed down since.
And, you mentioned, key characters on that journey. You're now part of Fnatic on loan. You went on loan for the E-Club World Cup, and the policy with that is if you didn't know that players, have to stay until a certain month in 2020. So talk to me about that. You're a teammate of Tex. I'd probably go out and say that coming into the E-Club World Cup that you qualified for, you guys could, probably go and win it.
Yeah, I can't lie. I always do credit Tex because ever since I made the E-Nations with him, you would have seen, he helped me a lot that day. That was my first event in about 6 months, and he made me feel like we were playing at home together, having a laugh, and it was just another game of FIFA, which it is really. And ever since then, me and Tex struck up a friendship that obviously I owe him a lot for what he did to my career, but we're good friends when we play FIFA. When we're not playing FIFA, even in the off-season, we're still always chatting and meeting up or whatever. And the move came around. Obviously, there's 3 players at hashtag. You can only have 2 players playing. Tex on his own at Fnatic, new signing there. It just made sense. Tex said to manager Colin about it. Maybe we can make something happen there. He wanted to play with me. Obviously, I wanted to play with him. In my eyes, he's the best player in the world, even though the rankings might say he's second at the minute. So yeah, it was pretty straightforward from then, and I've been enjoying my time at Fnatic ever since.
And talk to us about kind of your objectives for this year in FIFA 20, because obviously for a lot of pros it is World Cup finals. Is that something, or is there to win a tournament? What is it for you?
For me, I think one thing I always say to myself is that people remember the winners in the scene, and although World Cup is a dream and being a top 16 player in the world is amazing, I think people, when we look back at previous FIFAs, you'd probably struggle to name the 16 players at every World Cup. So yeah, obviously that is an unbelievable achievement. No disrespect to anyone that's made top 16. That is, you are literally at the pinnacle of your game. But I think I want to win a trophy because they're the people that are really remembered, that can really make a name, like in the history of FIFA esports.
Nobody remembers the silver medalists, do they? Let's be honest. And nobody remembers the people who made it to the Olympics, 100 metres. They remember Usain Bolt. And you want to be a winner.
And there's a reason why we still talk about E-World Cup winners, Alfonso Ramos, Bruce Granick, why these people come up in conversations all the time. One more thing I want to know about you as well, Tom, is, you're a huge Spurs fan. I know your family's quite into football as well. Your dad manages to a good level. Talk talk, that move to hashtag, was it kind of about that football mindset as well? They love their football there, both in esports.
More than an esports team, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it fit perfectly for me. Obviously, the interest, I follow a lot of non-league through my dad anyway, but always been interested in it ever since I was roughly 15, 16. I've always been keeping an eye on it, and coaching was something that I wanted to do. Still something that could happen in the future, of course. I've always wanted to look into that side of football, and hashtag obviously looking to go up the leagues and become a settled non-league club that can be one of a kind, which we are in terms of what we're doing on the pitch and especially in esports as well. And yeah, the opportunity to be involved in more content, always vlogging what we're doing. So you're not just playing FIFA anymore. It's a different ball game. You're in front of a camera. You're telling people what you're doing. You've got people around you all the time.
You're learning new skills, aren't you? You're not just an esports team where your sole objective is to play FIFA. You're sort of creating yourself to be a content creator. You're creating yourself to be a presenter. Whatever it is that you want to do, that's the appeal that hashtag have over other esports teams.
And it's been great to hear about Tom's story as well and the journey he's been on as a FIFA esports player. As you said, on loan at Fnatic from hashtag United. And I think it's about time we had a little bit more fun in extra time. Right then, it's extra time. It's our favourite part of the show, Tom, where basically me and Richard can do whatever we want for a few minutes. So we're going to do kind of like a would you rather, not would you rather, kind of like a, which way you're going to choose. So, first and foremost...
I've got one.
Go on, you take it from me.
Spurs or hashtag?
Hashtag. Offers more to me personally, that's why.
Okay, yeah.
Favourite tournament you've ever played in?
E-Nations. Even though we didn't do as well as we could have, and you would think I'd say Atlanta, right? But the whole team vibe is completely different to anything I've done in FIFA before. So yeah, I enjoyed that the most, 100%.
Kane or Son?
Harry Kane for me. See him a bit of a role model. Perfect professional, isn't he? Perfect professional.
Do you prefer competing at home or do you prefer competing at LAN?
LAN, 100%. Yeah. I like the fact that everyone's watching and involved and people see the journey you go on at LAN, whereas at home it's hard to broadcast the ins and outs of every game. I like the fact that like my mum, all my family, my friends, everyone can watch you and really get involved. So yeah, 100% playing at LAN.
Here's a tough one for you. Tex or Harry?
We'll go as a teammate.
As a teammate?
Yeah.
That's the hardest question you've asked. How do I cop myself out of this one?
I mean, would you say you've had more success with Tex as a duos partner, whereas Harry's probably more of a captain, I'd say.
Yeah,
at hashtag.
I think Richard's summed that up perfectly. It depends.
I'll dig you out. I'll dig you out.
Yeah, let's just say it depends on context. Harry's more of a leader
and a penalty.
Yeah, and obviously he taught me the pens, as you would have seen this weekend. Sorry about that, Harry, but yeah, Tex leads with the way he acts and makes you feel relaxed, but Harry definitely verbally and probably off the pitch, probably a bit more of a friend to me socially, we'll say that.
And what about this one about Spurs as well? Pochettino or Mourinho? Ooh. I know it's early days for Mourinho still.
Right, I really wanted to get on the Mourinho train, but I can't lie, I miss Pochettino. I think it's a passion you see in him, how much it means to him. Obviously, the Ajax game where he's literally crying on the pitch. Them sort of moments bring you together with a team and a manager, and I think until Mourinho either wins something or does something at that level, I think I'll always have that gratitude to Pochettino.
I've got one more question, and it's going to be a regular that I'm going to bring in. It's going to be the Richard Buckley crossbar question. And it's going to be, if you are allowed one person in history to coach you for a FIFA event, they're your coach for the entire event, who are you taking? It's completely off the script.
It's a great
No one
question.
knows anything about this.
So let's say they all have the same...
They've got the FIFA knowledge.
Yeah,
it's
as
just
if they're football.
A motivator.
I would say Sir Alex Ferguson because of how he could adapt to... He adapted to a whole new generation of football, right?
Yeah.
FIFA is very much about how much you can adapt year in, year out. I think Ferguson would be the man for that.
And come FIFA 21, you could be winning 6 FUT Champions Cups maybe if Alex Ferguson fancies a call up. But unfortunately, that is all we've got time for in today's episode of Crossbar. A huge thank you for coming on, Tom. All the best for the rest of the season. Fingers crossed we'll see you at the E-World Cup final.
Cheers, Brandon. Let's hope so. Hope I can get the job done.
And for me and you, Richard, as well, we'll be in Paris next month for the next FUT Champions Cup. You looking forward to that one?
We will indeed. I'm looking forward to another FUT Champions Cup, getting back in the commentary desk and seeing some of the best FIFA players battle it out.
Well, that is it from all of us here on Crossbar, provided by PlayStation. We'll be back for another episode next month, and we can't wait to see you all again.
PlayStation